Good morning, and welcome to A Better World with Julann and Fran. I'm Julann.
And I'm Fran, and today we're going to be speaking to somebody that Julianne and I have known and loved for more years than we care to admit. Tom Redmond. Welcome, Tom.
Woo!
Thank you.
Welcome,
Thank you.
Tom.
It's an honor. Thank you very much for
Thank
being
you for
invited.
being
It
here.
means a lot.
And I know that you do a lot of things that make the world a better place. Could you talk a little bit about when you were serving on the police force?
Yeah, I got grew up in Brooklyn. My dad was a cop, so I always wanted to be it because I seen all the stuff he did, and the friends he had, and it's a lot when they come home. We come home and he'd be saying to help this one or that one. I said, I think I'm going to do that. But then in the meantime, my grandmother worked. She lived in a house downstairs, and she worked for the fire department union. So when I turned 1980, I graduated high school, and she said, "You're coming to work with me. You ain't spending the summer here. You're gonna come." And I got to see these heroes, men and women of the fire department on a regular basis. So I was like, "Where am I going?" But the police department called me because I had taken a test, and 1983 in July, I went on and I started recognizing people from the neighborhood. And
Yeah.
everybody had the same thing. You just wanted to make a difference. Nobody had this ego stuff. It was just like, wow, they're really giving me this cop car to drive around in and help people and do things, and it was just great. And after a few years, I got into what's called youth conditions. I wanted to help out the kids. And
Mhm.
6-1 where I was working, they had this like if there were kids hanging out in the corner, instead of calling the regular sector car there, they would call youth conditions. So I would go there and you interact. And within maybe 6 months, you kind of knew all the kids in the area. And
Yeah.
you're able to help them and guide them and talk to them. And it really was special for me. Unfortunately, after a few years, I got hurt. I had a couple of surgeries, got off the job, and then moved to Florida. So what am I going to do? Our in-laws were out there, and I said it's time to go. So my wife, though, she had the bags packed already. And we wound up going to Florida and lived in a place called Palm Bay. It was great. Just we made a life out there, giving back. I didn't know what I was going to do. It was weird. This was the hardest thing. You get there and you don't know nobody. In Brooklyn, you know everybody. As big as
Right.
Brooklyn is, you kind of know everybody. You know where to get a good sandwich. You know good people. You got to
Pizza.
get
Good
pizza.
pizza.
Yeah, pizza. Everything. It's just there. Good times. Everybody's communicating. There, I knew nobody except these pine trees that were outside, and I'm in a city of 68,000 at the time. I gotta tell you, I came depressed. Came really depressed because I was
Oh,
first time in my life. Like I don't know anybody.
it's too
Yeah.
quiet.
I was like, I'll never forget. I was sitting in the middle of a parking lot on Malabar Minton Road in Palm Bay, and I said, "Hey God, I thought, yeah, this isn't for me. I want to go back home." You know. And then, but he took me there, and my in-laws were there, and I had 3 young kids, and I said, you know what? Maybe I'll start volunteering. And that's what I did. I started volunteering, even volunteered for the police department there. And within a few short years, it was great giving
It
back.
was like home.
It was because you meet a
Right.
lot of people. You start realizing, oh yeah, you're from Brooklyn, and you're from this, and you're from Jersey, and you start talking, you're having a good time, and guess what? You're laughing again. Once you laugh, you feel good. Once you see that you're helping somebody, because I think a lot of times, especially, let's be honest, the way we were brought up, you want to feel like you make a difference. You want to feel like your voice means something. You want to help people out. You don't want to just be sitting there and not doing anything. You're on this earth for a purpose.
Yeah.
And then it was pretty good. And I wound up getting involved with an organization called JC's, the Junior Chamber of Commerce. And a friend of mine said, "Come on, join." I go, "All right." So we do things for the community. I go, "Okay."
Okay.
But then they had this line. It was called the JC Creed, and it said, you know, "Service to humanity is the best work of life," and that was it. I said, "I'm in." I thought it was a great quote. So I started at chapter level. We did a lot with the homeless, and people that need help. You know, kids that need books, kids that need backpacks. You know, and we we started really growing and moving. We became the #1 chapter in the state of Florida. And eventually, a few years after, I ran for state president of the Florida JCs, and I won. It was great.
Yay.
But it was great because you're around people that lift you up and lift others up. Something about being in a room, and everybody in that room is about doing something for somebody else. And that's where you get your energy from. That's the way it is. When you're looking around our room and you're like, if somebody went down right now, somebody's going to take their shirt and help them out. Somebody's going to
Exactly.
do that. And it had all walks of life, all different religions, all different colors. And it was just, and I loved it. It was so uplifting. My wife was, we met the best friends that we ever had for that long. You know, 20 years, 25 years of living there. And we lost a lot. You know, some of them all passed. But when you can look around and say, that person did this and that for so long. Like that was their life, giving back. And it just, and the kids were around it. So our kids got to see it. 10 years old, they're in a booth for a fireworks show. We would put on a big fireworks show. They were in the booth doing the soda. It was just really nice.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It was,
Yes, volunteering it just makes your soul feel so good, doesn't it? It's like you're where you're supposed to be when you're volunteering and you're doing something for somebody else. And I really think that may be the whole reason that God put us on this planet, is to serve each other.
I believe that. See, you bring it up. I'm a person of faith, you know, and there are people that go, God, this you heard Julann, you know, she went to church, and I guarantee you, Julann's not reading parts everything of the Bible. It's in here. It's her relationship with God. It's her appreciation of what God has given her and her family.
Right, being grateful.
It's the grateful. It is. It's the strength. And that's, you know, that's appreciation. I always feel this. I know it's crazy, but I think when you die, God will call you into heaven, and the way you get in to say, hey, you know, Tom, remember that old lady that fell? Yeah, but you wanted to go to you kept walking past her. That didn't work out for you, Tom. You're going down. I really believe it could be that simple. That we're there for other people, and we're going to be judged on those actions when they come. We can't put our head in the sand and walk by them. We got to extend a hand and help them out. You know, and I feed off that. I love that. It's like food for me. It's energy. It's spirit. You know, it's good.
Yes, you've mentioned energy twice now. And I think a lot of people don't realize that the energy that you put out is what you attract. So when you're putting out this energy of I am here to serve you, then you find that in moments of your need, maybe there's somebody there for you as well.
Oh, absolutely. That is great. I got a friend. What happened was, it's the most of it, but 10 years ago, July, I lost my dad. You know, he passed. He was my buddy, you know, him and my grandmother were the two best for me. And but 2 weeks before he passed on, I got these pains in my stomach. So I go to they thought it was food poisoning. Turned out to be, they said, my appendix. So I took my appendix out 2 weeks from my father. Well, he passes in July of 2015. My granddaughter is going to be born in the end of December. Beginning of December, I get the same exact pain in my stomach. I'm telling my wife, I don't get this. I got the same pain. They told me it was appendix, same. Well, I go, they tell me food poisoning again. Don't eat the Chinese food, they said. Well, a friend of ours, a relative, really, she said, I got a friend that's charged of the emergency room out east. If you want to go there, he'll take a look at you. So I go. They're about to send me home. 2 days, they take this CAT scan, everything's good. All of a sudden, this little Indian guy, this guy is so short. He walks in, he goes, I think you got something. He goes, I think there's something there. And I'm going, Doc, I said, my wife's here. Take me on. My granddaughter's going to be born in 2 weeks. I said, they said I'm fine. He goes, I just think you got something. And right then, I said, well, what about if I leave? I come back after my granddaughter's born. And he goes, you could do that. I'll meet you right away. And it was like God talking to me. My kids, everybody said, stay. And they found out a carcinoid. Caught it so early. They
Wow.
usually never catch it. They don't catch it till it's late. They caught it early. And out of nowhere, my friend calls me. Not even 5 minutes after that. And he lives in Florida. And Rob, he's a man of faith. And he goes, hey, Tom, just thinking of you. You okay? I go, oh, Rob, you won't believe this. I said,
Yeah.
so they're wheeling me in the morning. He hopped the plane. They're wheeling me
Oh,
into the emergency room. And he goes, operating room. He goes, oh, hold on. He goes, and there he was, flew down.
oh,
Prayed
how
over me. He
nice.
asked the doctors, can I pray over him? He goes, yeah. And thank God, everything was good. Everything is good. But that's God.
Right.
And that's
Right.
friendship. God put me with him. That guy was there for me.
It's nice.
2 years ago, I'm hanging out with my daughter or my granddaughter, and I said, "Oh, I'm going to be 60 years old." So I feel good. I go to the doctors and all good. But so I go to the cardiologist and they do a stress test. They say, you're fine. I said, hey, doc, anything else I could do? I'm gonna be 6 years old. I don't want my grandkid finding me on the floor.
Right.
So he says, oh, we could do a calcium test. I flunked that thing so bad. 2 days later, they're sticking a stent in me. And thank God
Really?
I'm okay. 2 stents. You know what the doc said? I have no idea what God you pray to, but he's got your back.
Nice.
And I tear up because he's got my back. I got mine. I got his. I'm going to do whatever I can. He's got me here.
Right.
He saved me. Why throw it in the garbage can or abuse it? We're there to help people. We are. That line by the great Roberto Clemente. He says he said if you if you don't help people when you see them, you're wasting your time here on earth. That's so true.
Yeah. And it's everything we do. It does, not just our kids and our grandkids, but when we're walking, you know, when we're online somewhere, if someone puts their blinker on, if we could just get through to humanity to take a pause and think of someone other than yourselves. I think that's what COVID did. I think that since we were all um, in our own little cocoon, we don't know what it's like to interact. It's like people have lost their minds. Take a minute out and think of someone other than yourself.
Well, they have lost their minds. I agree with you. And I
Yeah,
think what you and Fran are doing is perfect. We need more of that. I even
yeah,
look on social media when you're there and you see like somebody will say, and I think this a lot. Like, let's say it's somebody's birthday, and they'll go, "Happy birthday, Julann," and you see it. But if you see somebody there that why don't you throw them a compliment, and say, "Oh, by the way, Joe, oh, great job on so and so." We don't even use that opportunity. I can't believe that. We all
yeah.
know that Joe did something, and that why not use that opportunity? Use that opportunity to lift somebody up. It's amazing what that does to people. It is
Yeah.
just simply amazing. And again, I really believe it goes back to the way we were brought up. We really were a good group of people. Everybody. You can turn around. I don't think there's many people can turn around with that many people and go, those are good people. And the good
Yeah.
fathers and the good people and the good, and the good souls. That that meant something. But there was a way of life back then, and that way of life is kind of been pushed on the side now.
Yeah. You know what it is? Everybody, and I have Facebook and Instagram and all that. I had it when I had my own business, but I don't really go on too much. I don't. I'm bad at that. Even sometimes I don't take a picture of my grandkids, right? I'll say, "Oh, I wish I would have." And I'm trying to be present. I'm trying to be in the moment, like we don't know. You hear about someone like you. See, you were so lucky, but you hear about someone who runs and he's in great shape and he dies of a heart attack one day on the side of the road. And live for now. Don't worry about yesterday. Don't plan for tomorrow. Not that you shouldn't plan for tomorrow. You know what I mean? Try to be present. Try to, if you see somebody online, like yesterday, there was a woman. I said, "Oh, I love your blouse or, whatever. And she's like, oh my God, here's one. This morning I was at church. Now, the way we were brought up, we go into the pew and we move down. But since COVID, you leave space. That's just the way it is now. Nobody shakes hand. You do this, peace be with you. But you leave space. You don't want to be too close to anybody. So I sat on the end. Now, I sat right near the door. And a woman came in late to church. So I hear the door, I take a quick peek, and I moved over. Well, you would have thought that I gave her a winning lotto ticket. She was so happy, and it makes me sad because if someone needs a seat, why am I going to let this woman walk all the way to the front of the church? She's late, right? When you're late, you're trying to sneak in. You don't want to have to walk up front. There are 12 rows of people with one person in it. Move over. Well, there were people down my aisle.
No, move over, like you said. Yeah.
Move over, hold the door for somebody, say God bless you. Stephen calls me Mary. Like if somebody drops something, I help them pick it up. Or if someone sneezes, I don't care. I don't care anymore. I say, God bless you. I don't care if you're in a restaurant. I don't care. You sneeze, I'm saying God bless you. So he'll say, Mary, you missed one.
See, see? But the humor goes in there,
Right. But he does it too. If somebody needs help, we got home yesterday. We always have our kids. And that's why I'm up here with a fake background. Because usually I sit in the dining room. It's nice and quiet on a Sunday morning. Two of my kids are here with their kids, my niece and my mother-in-law. Everybody's here from Staten Island, and it's like a crazy house down there. So I said, let me come up here and get away. But we come in yesterday afternoon, we went shopping or whatever we had done, and he said, I have to go back outside. There's a car out there, and I noticed it a little while ago, and it has its lights on. I have to see who it is because the battery's going to be dead, you know? So that's the kind of stuff we do. We don't just look the other way. If you see someone, a man was stuck on the side of the road. I'm a woman, right? I said, I rolled down the window. I was going the opposite way. Rolled down the window. You know what I mean? Hit the button. And I said, uh, do you need help? Can I help you? Do you need anything? He said, oh, God bless you. I'm okay, but thank you for stopping. No offense, Tom. Men don't stop. They don't
no,
stop. I don't know
I
what it
know,
is.
no, I agree.
And maybe we're in a hurry, and I'm not saying everybody should stop. If you've got to go somewhere, you're picking up your grandkids, you have to meet your wife, and you have plans, fine, but just in a regular day, you know? And sometimes you want to ask a person, and you have to be careful because there'll be somebody like emptying her wagon at the supermarket. She's an older woman. She's got 5 things in the wagon. So I say, do you want me to take the wagon? Because I need a wagon anyway, but it's going to take me an extra 5 minutes. So wait the 5 minutes and you could talk to her. And then you can go and take her wagon back and she doesn't have to do it.
I, I agree.
So
That
easy.
you don't know too. God wants you to do that, and people walk past that. You're answering somebody's prayers sometimes. Just a
Maybe.
little thing to bring them up. How many times have you heard, both of you? No doubt in my mind, I've heard it. Like, I really appreciate it. Could be 6 months later. When you said that to me, that meant a lot.
Yeah.
It does, because you guys are two good people willing to lift up. If we had more of that, see that now we're talking about the climate. Same thing I feel with this political crap we're in. Where everybody's so decisive, everybody's on their side. I have no idea. I said this, like, whatever side you're on, why you want to rub it in somebody else's face? I don't
Exactly.
understand that. Like, you
See?
purposely are going to wear that hat to piss that one off, or you're going to jump on that to piss them off. Like, you got to get a life. Get a life. Treat so much more that we could be doing for each other and we don't.
Have
A
grace.
simple
That's
thing.
it.
Well, when you think of COVID, think about COVID, and you would walk into a doctor's office. And I know here in New York that, be nice, please. No, wait your turn, please. No shouting. I'm like, you really got to put that out there. People,
Signs on the door say, today I went to the bagel store. The sign on the door said, no one wants to work anymore. Please be kind to the staff. Why?
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 This is,
In Stop and Shop this morning, I went in the indoor. I'm thinking everybody's here. They want bagels. I'm getting cream cheese and running around, trying to see the best way, the most efficient way. Do I get gas first, then the bagels, then this? Because I want to be efficient. So I go to Stop and Shop. I grab a couple of things. Now I check out. I go to self-checkout and I say good morning. I don't care. I'm crazy. My granddaughter's the same way. Everyone I see, I don't care. I say good morning. Don't answer,
uh,
whatever. So I get up to the thing. I say to the woman, good morning. And she says hi. And she checks me out. And I said, oh, is there a sale paper? She goes, oh, they're at the entrance. Now, the entrance was all the way the other side. I said, okay. And she said, wait. And she took a minute. She came out from behind her register and she went over to the side to someone else's register. And there were 5 or 6 there. I didn't see them. They were behind the register, you know, and she gave it to me. And I was like, thank you so much. I so appreciate it. Now, was it a big deal? No, but she took a minute out. She was talking to somebody too. They were chit-chatting. She could have just ignored me, but she went out of her way. And that's it. That's all it takes. 1 second.
That's all it takes. And you know what's crazy is, and you both know this too, you know who those good people are. You get that feeling right off the bat. This is a good soul. You know, it's a good
Yeah.
person. I love saying that to people. Like you did a great job. You know, I really appreciate it.
Thanks, really. That was
It
so
looks
nice.
like they hear all the garbage all the time. You know, during COVID, like you said, made people nuts. I'm on the right as when COVID was starting to end, I went to the Stop and Shop here. Lady, the girl's like 19 years old behind the counter. She's the cashier. I'm on my phone. And the guy's like, what'd you do with these bags? What happened to the other bags? These bags are too thin. So I don't know, you know, sir, I'm sorry, you
You
know.
just work here.
They're just working. He I'm looking at he attacked her again. He goes, I had to say, I said, excuse me, sir, what you got to do with the damn bags? What you got nothing to
Right.
do with the bags?
She's just
Yeah,
a
why don't
kid.
you say thank you for coming in here? Thank you for being nice.
Thanks for helping.
And you know, thanks for opening because you're showing up. You're doing it, you know.
Right.
We just
Someone
gotta be
else
nicer.
at one of the supermarkets during a time when I think it was, I don't remember if it was COVID, but there was a woman in front of me, an older woman, and her order was whatever, some amount of dollars and change. Now she opens her purse and she's counting out all her change. The guy behind me is going nuts. He's going from
Good.
his left foot to his right foot, and the girl was so kind. So he didn't say anything, but he was huffing and puffing and banging and slamming, and the little old lady was there. So when the little old lady left, I said to the girl, "That was so kind of you. It was you were patient and kind, and your mother would be proud of you." See, I could cry when I say
That's good.
because
That's
when someone tells me my kids are, or my granddaughter, somebody, one time playing in the schoolyard, Megan had my father cross her to run to my father's house to get a stool for a woman who was pregnant playing in the schoolyard. She was a little kid. You know, just be kind. God Almighty, have some great.
you just brought up. It's the truth. You see it. Actions speak louder than words. You know, and I shared with Tanya over the years. I said, you'll see the cream rise to the top because all the people tell you about your kids. You
Yeah.
know that they're caring, they're loving, they're this, they're that, and they are. That's simple fact. But where did she learn that from? The kindness of you. You
And
know,
it's an example. You can't just
being an
tell kids,
example. You know,
be kind.
be kind. You know, and say it and say it's the right way. I believe this when I was raising our kids. My wife and I, number one on the team. Number two, you can't tell your kids don't hang out with this one and be that if you as a parent are going to invite the garbage into your house. You know, you got a guy with a filthy mouth. You got, you know, you, the kids. It sends a wrong message. You know, if you're going to hold them accountable, you got to hold yourself accountable so they get to see that too. You know, and I think we need to do more of that. We're losing it. We're losing
Yeah.
so much.
And it comes from home. It does. When my son was 30, his wife, well, now it's
Can you
his
believe
wife.
you're talking like that when my son's
Yeah,
31?
right. Megan's 40. My oldest is 40. But
Okay,
we went to
God
my
bless.
daughter-in-law had a party for him for his 30th birthday. So we go to the party. Now, my son's a fireman, right? Well, at that point, was he? He might have still been an EMT, or maybe he was in the academy. I don't remember. Wherever he was an EMT in the Bronx for 5 years. Now, let me tell you something. That is a job that is, he was so kind. I was proud of him every day, but it was like being in the war. It was a rough, rough job. So anyway, she has this party for him, and these kids come in. Now, they were EMTs, I believe. They were all EMTs. So it was a little bit into the party, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. 10 kids, men, really, they're men, right? They're all 30s. They come over and shake our hands. My husband and I, they come in a line like a little parade, shake my hand and say, your son is one of the best guys I've ever met. Now, not just one guy, and it wasn't like a play. A couple of minutes later, first they introduced themselves to us, which I think is so exceptional because it's Ryan's party. You don't have to find his parents. We had nothing to do with the party. We didn't host the party. My daughter-in-law did everything. We had nothing to do with it. So they came to find us, first of all, and different times during the night. What a great guy he is. Even in the firehouse now, he had a car accident with his son a couple of weeks ago. A lady blasted him out of a gas station. She was coming out of the gas station. There was 2 lanes of traffic. The guy in this lane tells her it's okay to go. He's going to let her go. But she didn't look. So she blasted my son, and the baby was in the center. So he wasn't hurt. Thankfully, everybody was good. Ryan tells me he was okay. He checked his son, not even crying, nothing. Everything was good. He got out of the car to help the woman who hit him because she was bleeding, right? Because
Mm.
he was an EMT for all those years. So that's what he does. He goes over. But the guys at his firehouse, the probies, chipped in to give him money towards a new car seat. And he said, listen, guys, it's going to be covered under insurance. It's not necessary. I can't accept it because they're not a top pay or anything yet. They're new, and Ryan isn't either. He said, no, no, I really can't. They said, yes, we want to do it.
Oh,
I could cry again. I cry a lot.
Oh,
Hold on.
that's cool.
But
See, and now what you just said is something that gets to my wife and I. We raised good kids, two boys and a girl. God bless.
lucky.
And simply because of the uniform they wear, some people would say, oh, and I'm going like, not my kid, not people he works with, and then some will tell you, and you probably heard, oh, not your son, but the other ones. No,
Exactly.
no, you
Right.
expect my kid to keep his mouth shut if he's seen something wrong, you know? When they walk into a house, this is not in the paper, and they see a mother that needs, a person that needs, they go right, they donate, they give their time. Your son's
You
like,
help.
you
Yeah.
help.
And
Doesn't
listen,
make the paper, but it's amazing how
exactly.
people say don't judge a book by its cover, but they have no problem judging you if you're in that uniform at times.
Exactly.
Oh,
My brother Will, both his sons are cops.
yeah,
And it's rough out there. That's a
uh,
rough job.
uh,
That is not a job. I mean, listen, as much as, police and fire, Stephen was both. So I know.
uh,
He was in Coney Island in the 80s. That was no joke.
it was
It
no
was
joke.
no joke. It was scary. And yet he treated every single person somebody he was respectful to everyone the same way Ryan was as an EMT. He would pick up a drug addict on the street and cursing and spitting and crazy, and he would say, listen, I love to hear stories, so I always want to know. I'm here to help you. I'm on your side, and treat them with respect because it doesn't matter. The same thing with our political. Listen, yes, it's crazy out there now, and there are good and bad and crazy, but we're still cousins or friends or sisters. This family's ripped apart.
Oh, ripped apart with it.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's you know,
Because of this. I don't know.
no,
We have a lot of work to do.
here's the thing: we do it one step at a time. People like you and
Yeah,
Frank, that's what you do. I laugh all the time with Frank because I'll say the North thing because I remember spelling Fran backwards North, or the unicorns, and I'm like, that was such a great part of growing up. We had the humor. We didn't mind showing that softer side, that crazy side. That
right.
you know, it's and it's missing today. It's like, oh no,
It
I can't
is.
show that side. You
We
can't do.
listened to music. We didn't do anything bad, even though some of the neighbors wanted to get rid of us because we were noisy. We had the radio on. We played handball. We had a catch with a frisbee. It was great. It really was
Ah,
a good way to
a
grow up.
sandwich. To the store, got a sandwich. It's just
Yeah.
hanging out. It was
Yeah.
just
Go to
great.
Dan's.
Had the
Go to
boom
Dan's
box.
and get some candy.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, dance. But it was just a great time, and we took that with us. We used that, and it's great. I remember like there was a thing I remember happened to me in Tilden. You know, it was the last year, and I walk out during it was the testing, and we walked out early, so because you were able to leave once you were done with the test.
Right.
So I'm walking. I had the watch on my left hand, and these guys are shooting craps. I walk by. Guy grabs my arm right away, you know, and he takes it off. I just keep walking. I go on, tell my dad, what am I going to do? We all were able to handle ourselves, but you size the thing up. My father says, "What you learned from this?" And I'm like, he goes, "You don't wear your watch to school." He goes in, why don't you hang out in the hallway till you got a few more of your friends to leave, so you kind of could leave a little bit more together, like not walking by yourself. It
Stick
was
together.
always the humor, but the humor made it you learn from. It
And you
was
don't feel stupid or you don't feel like you did something wrong. That's another thing that, listen, you do your
amen
best.
to that. Amen.
Do your best. Don't make a kid. If somebody has a car accident, your first reaction should be, are you okay? Listen, are you okay? Is anyone hurt? It's just a car. You know what I mean? Like, same thing with tests. When my kids were younger, it wasn't, you have to get 100. It was, did you do your best? Did you do your best? And my daughter Lauren jokes, oh, the Irish way. What'd you do? How'd you do? I got a 96. What'd you miss? This.
Uh,
And go over what you missed. It wasn't because I wanted you to get 100. It's because I wanted you to know the things you didn't know.
yeah, no, yeah. What
That's a joke.
no, I no, but it is the Irish way, by the way.
Yeah.
I love that Irish. But my wife's mom was born in Ireland, and her father was born in Malta, and that Irish thing is what her and I, Bridget and I, we just like united. The stuff that would come out of her mouth was just hilarious.
It is. It's
Way
funny.
you're thinking, but then you also think that makes sense. That made sense. It was like
Yeah.
it makes sense. I got one of the things that mattered to me growing up. I always took sayings, slogans, quotes, and I would share them with the kids. And my daughter, when she came a teacher, she'd go like, lay down with dogs, you get fleas, and it was just, I'm becoming you, Dad. And I'm like, no, that grandma used to say that, or this one would say that because
Yeah.
she took those quotes. And what happened was like one of the people I always respected was Dr. Martin Luther King. If you look at the quotes that he
Yeah.
said, it always mattered. So when we moved Florida, I had this like computer room and I had a picture of Dr. King up, one of his quotes. It was on top of the closet. And I never thought, it was up there for years. And one day cable goes out. So this guy comes over to do the cable. And he is being like, I told my wife, I got to tip this guy like $10.
How great he is,
Yeah,
right?
like how great. A few minutes later, the guy's like getting a box. He's doing this. He goes in my son's room. I said, I think I got to tip him $15 now. I said, $20. So at the end, I go hand it to him. And he goes, I can't take the money. He said, seeing that picture up in your house means everything. He walked out the door. A picture,
Oh,
a picture in a house made
Makes
that
a
guy
difference.
like it just mattered that and I'm like, to me it's like that guy's brilliant up there. Like
Right, exactly.
it's
It's an
like
honor for me to hang his picture.
yeah, man, you're feeling this way. And then when Amanda, my daughter, like started, she was president, whatever, that when she graduated, she gave the speech. She was
Right.
student.
Valedictorian.
Well, she was that too, but she was what they picked five in her school. She was one of them.
Nice.
But she was the president of the class, the graduating class, and she spoke. And she quoted John Kennedy. She quoted Reagan. She quoted Dr. King. And I'm like tearing up.
Yeah.
Like, like, let's not take the Democratic way or the Republican way. Let's take the right way. And I'm like,
Yeah, that's
feeling
it.
so good. It's
Yeah.
like, that's what you want, and to hear that, to see it, to see that love, there was, remember Mary Queen of Heaven, there was the folk mass. And he used to say, let them know we're Christians by our love. It was a song.
Yeah, yeah.
Remember that? Like,
Yeah.
and like, it's that simple. Oh.
Yeah.
And the only other thing I'll say, I think that we're afraid to say things, even in a joking manner, to somebody. But in the meantime, don't be afraid to say the joke. Don't be afraid to, get your
Yeah.
point across sometimes. Just be there to help that person out, though.
Yeah.
Don't.
Remember the comedians back in the day? Like when we were kids, there were jokes about whether you were black or white or Irish or Italian or it
uh,
was and when we had gone on a cruise with the kids and there was a comedian, he said, "Listen, I just want you to know I'm a old school comedian. I'm gonna make fun of everybody. If you're
Everybody.
easily offended, you should leave now because
That,
I'm gonna hit everybody." And it was great because we
that,
don't laugh anymore. We don't joke.
we
Everybody's
don't.
on edge. I don't know. We're just we gotta
We
work
are.
on it. Gotta do better.
We got to do better. It's let's just say where it's coming from. Don't listen to the words. Where it's come from? Is Julian trying to say something nasty? Is it coming from a nasty way? No,
Right.
of course not. Then laugh.
Exactly.
Fran, like it's not a. You guys don't have a nasty bone in your body, so people. But don't judge this what I say. It's funny. If
Yeah.
I'm known as being a guy that's gonna give digs, then take it as a dig. But humor. Like I just remember growing up without anything. It was like Irish had green teeth. We
Yeah.
like our potatoes. Now
Exactly.
you
Oh,
can't.
they were a lot worse than that one, Tom.
No, no, I know, but you can't even say that today. You can't.
Right. No,
You
you
can't say
can't. You
nothing.
can't say anything
Yeah,
anymore.
you can't
Yeah.
say no more because we got to worry about it. I think when we talk about people's feelings, we got to talk about the real feelings, what they affect, how we pick on people, or but the jokes, that's a different thing. It's not being nasty to somebody. That what
Yeah,
is done those days is
just
done out of
fun.
hatred.
Right.
I think
Mm,
you know, I think we just need all just to get together and start lifting each other up. You
yeah.
know, um, we're not doing a good job of that. We're
Okay.
just not, and it's gotten that, like you said, after COVID, it's gotten so much worse.
Yeah.
The interaction, so it's become acceptable. Nobody wants to help anybody out. In New York,
They're
you
impatient.
gotta pack nothing. They don't even pack the bags no more. You gotta pack your own bag.
Yeah.
There's senior citizens out there that you want. What does it take to be nice to that person? That's
Well,
just
that's it. I think it's because that's how we were raised. Maybe not everybody. And that's another thing. Like I see some of the older women at church. If someone's late or a kid cries, they're looking. Who's coming in, checking their watch. Listen,
yeah.
they're there. The kids are there. Like, don't be so judgmental. Don't be so critical. Just try to be, I don't know,
No,
kind.
you're right. You're right. But they are critical.
They
They
are.
are nasty, and I think they're broken. I
Yeah,
really
and
believe when
that's it.
people do
Maybe
that,
they need more love. You know
they
what? Maybe
all
those are
love
the
it.
ones we should work on this week. All the
Uh,
cranky ones. And see, that's our goal this week, Fran. Next week we're going to talk about it. I tell the kids all the time, do the right thing. One of them said, we're going to put that on your tombstone. Do the right thing. That's it.
but what's wrong with
Says it
that?
all. Huh?
That's exactly it. Do the
Do
right
the
thing.
right thing. You
That-
know what it is.
that-
Integrity is doing the right thing when no one's watching. That's
Amen.
another good one.
All right, and I think that too, just because we there are people that feel that they strengthen themselves by picking on people that they can.
Mhm.
That
Bullies.
bullying stuff is terrible. And not worrying about people's feelings. That's something else. It's a simple breakdown of that person has feelings. Why don't you be a little nice to that person? Lift that person up. Stick up for that person. So many times they don't because that person doesn't want to stick up for that. But we did. That's what I'm trying to say. We came from a society, a group that we wouldn't allow that to happen.
Right.
Today, it's acceptable, and that's why it's going down. It's just
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel real bad. We as much as we move forward, we go backwards. And
Well,
hate
that's it.
is terrible. Prejudice is terrible,
Yeah.
and laziness is terrible. Being a lazy person, just because you're okay, don't mean you can't buy this person a soda or a thing.
Right.
Yeah,
Or
oh
hold
man,
the door. Hold the
hold the
door.
door, hold the door. You're right. Uh, but
Today, when I went into the bagel store, there was a man, and I sat here in church in the larger part, but I saw the man across because he said hi to someone. I just caught caught his eye. So I went to the bagel store and they didn't have what I wanted. So I got something and I was leaving. And as I was leaving, I guess he saw me through the window. So he waited to hold the door. Now, the two of us weren't at the door at the same time. I was walking toward the door and he waited. I mean, he went out of his way to hold the door. So I said, "Oh, that was so nice. You waited for me. Thank you so much." I said, "And you went to church today. I saw you." And
Uh,
we were laughing
yeah,
because I
yeah,
did. I happened to now I wasn't close enough to say hi or anything. He had a fire department jacket on, so I caught
yeah.
the signal. But he waited for me to get there. You know what I mean? Like it was really nice. I don't know.
Oh, it is.
Notice the little things too. Maybe we don't always notice. Fran and I end it. We ask how you wanted people to get in touch with you, but the thing that we usually say is, if you had one thing that you'd want people to take away from this, what would it be? But we've said so many. You've said so many good things. I don't know how you'd pick one, but Tom, what would you want if there was one thing? What would it be?
Uh, every morning God gives us an opportunity. We wake up, right? And if we get up and we walk out, what are you going to do for somebody that day? Honestly, could say something nice. You could be there for somebody, or just think about, you know what? I haven't heard from this person in a long time. That's another thing. I haven't heard from. I wonder how Joe's doing. I wonder how Stacy's doing. We got an opportunity. God gave you that today. You don't have to climb a mountain, but you can extend
I
your
do a
hand.
little thing.
The little thing, do it. And we all know somebody. We all know somebody we haven't heard from lately. We all know somebody that's going through something. And if you began the day or during that day, you reached out to that person somehow, some way, or you're in the store and you see what you've seen, something good, something, say something. Just,
Right.
"Hey, that was real nice
If
with
you
you."
see something, say something.
Yeah, and that would be it. That's what I would say. But I also let you guys know, keep doing what you're doing. I love it. It
Thank
means
you.
a lot to me to see you guys and other friends of ours that we have that that really care. We're it. We
Yeah,
got to
that's
keep doing and making a difference.
pay it
And
forward.
yes, and thank you to both of you, not only for what you personally do, but because you've both raised families that are, it's the butterfly effect. Your children are now having a very, very positive effect on the planet. If you say one nice thing to one person, that person's in a better mood. They might say one nice thing to one other person, and then so on and so on and so on. They might do a nice thing for another person. So thank you to both of you for raising, not only for being yourselves and doing what you do, but for raising such gorgeous families. Thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you, Fran.
thank you,
Thank
and
you.
thank you, Fran. Both of you always were from day one. You both had special hearts. So you're all part of this too. It's where we came from. It's that foundation we came from. So we're all part of it. Like Charlie Koch. I love that guy.
It's funny that you
I
brought him
tear
up
up.
because Fran asked him to be on too in the future. So
Uh,
he's thinking about it. But yeah, he's
he's
yeah.
just a great guy. That guy is just all of them, everybody. Well, I
Yeah.
love you guys and God bless.
Thanks,
Yeah, we
Tom.
love
You
you too.
too. It
Thank
was
you.
a
Thank you.
pleasure to talk to you. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you.
That's to
Thank you.
everybody. Thank you.
Okay, well, this has been another episode of A Better World with Julann and Fran. Please feel free to like and share this video. And I am going to stop recording now. And okay, here we go.